Hello friends. Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, do one small thing for yourself. If you're serious about speaking English naturally, not just understanding it, make sure you're subscribed, because this video is not about tricks, it's about changing how your mind uses English. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to answer this honestly in your head. Have you ever felt that English is actually there inside you, but somehow it refuses to come out when you need it? You don't feel blank. You feel blocked. And that difference matters. Why English feels heavy when you speak. Most people think their problem is vocabulary or grammar. But if that were true, you wouldn't understand English at all. You understand videos. You understand reels. You understand conversations when others speak. So the problem is not English itself. The problem is how you are trying to use it. From childhood, you were taught to treat English like a subject, something to prepare, something to score in, something where mistakes mean failure. That training never leaves your mind. So even today, when you try to speak, your brain behaves like it's sitting in an exam hall. The student mode that is slowing you down. When you speak, your mind doesn't ask, "What do I want to say?" It asks, "Is this correct? Is this sentence safe? Will this sound stupid?" This is what I call student mode. Student mode makes you careful. Student mode makes you slow. Student mode makes you silent. And fluency cannot grow in silence. Why real people don't speak like students. Real communication was never meant to be perfect. Humans speak to connect, not to perform. Think about how you speak in your own language. You don't design sentences. You don't check grammar. You don't panic over pauses. You speak, you adjust, you continue. But in English, you try to be perfect first and human later. And that one habit is quietly killing your confidence. The truth you need to accept. Here's the truth most people don't tell you. The more you respect English like a subject, the more it scares you. Fluent speakers are not fearless. They are permission-based. They give themselves permission to be simple, permission to be unclear for a second, permission to correct themselves without shame. That is why they sound free. How fluent speakers actually think while speaking. Most people imagine that fluent speakers are doing something special in their minds. They think fluent speakers are choosing perfect words, building correct sentences, and speaking confidently at the same time. That is not what is happening. In reality, fluent speakers are doing less, not more. While you're busy preparing the sentence in your head, they are already speaking. While you're checking grammar mentally, they're already halfway through the idea. And this difference starts inside the mind. They don't think in sentences. Here is something important you need to understand. Fluent speakers do not think in full sentences before they speak. They think in ideas. An idea comes first. The sentence forms while they are speaking. That's why their English sounds natural. Because it is being created in real time, not rehearsed in silence. But when you try to think of the full sentence first, your brain gets overloaded. And overload always leads to delay. Why your mind freezes mid-sentence. When you speak English, you try to do three things at the same time. You try to think of the idea. You try to translate it. And you try to check if it is correct. That is too much pressure for one moment. So, your brain chooses the safest option. It pauses. It waits. Sometimes it shuts down completely. This is not lack of English. This is mental traffic. What fluent speakers do instead. Fluent speakers allow imperfect sentences to exist. They start speaking before everything is clear. They say something simple first. Then they add. Then they correct. Then they move on. They trust that clarity will come after they start speaking, not before. This is a very different relationship with language. The real skill you need to build. Fluency is not about speed. It is about continuity. Fluent speakers don't stop every time something is unclear. They keep the flow alive. Pauses don't scare them. Mistakes don't stop them. Silence doesn't control them. That freedom is what you are missing, not vocabulary. The shift that changes everything. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect sentence, your English starts moving. The moment you stop monitoring every word, your confidence increases. The moment you accept small imperfections, your fluency grows naturally. This is not a speaking trick. This is a mindset shift. And once this clicks, English stops feeling like a test. How to exit student mode while speaking. Knowing the problem is not enough. If it were, you would already be fluent by now. What actually changes your English is learning how to switch modes in the moment you start speaking. Because student mode doesn't disappear on its own. You have to interrupt it. Notice what happens right before you speak. The moment you decide to speak English, something very subtle happens. Your body tightens a little. Your breathing changes. Your mind speeds up. That is not fear of English. That is fear of being judged. Your brain thinks something important is about to happen, so it activates control mode. And control mode always kills flow. Why trying harder makes it worse? Most people react by trying harder. They slow down even more. They think more carefully. They search for better words. But effort does not create fluency. Ease does. The more you try to control every word, the more unnatural you sound. Because spoken language was never meant to be controlled that tightly. The human switch you need to use. Here is the shift fluent speakers make automatically. They give themselves permission to start before they feel ready. They don't wait for confidence. They speak and confidence follows. Instead of thinking, how do I say this correctly? They think, how can I start this simply? That one question changes everything. Start small, then expand. Fluent speakers often start with incomplete thoughts, short openings, simple phrases, and then they build while speaking. You can do the same. You don't need the full sentence in your head. You just need the first 3 words. Once you say those, your brain relaxes. And relaxed brains speak better. Why this feels uncomfortable at first? If you try this, it may feel wrong initially. It may feel careless. It may feel unsafe. That's because you've been trained to value correctness over communication. But fluency lives on the other side of that discomfort. Every fluent speaker you admire once sounded messy. They just didn't stop. What this does to your confidence. When you stop aiming for perfection, you stop fearing mistakes. When you stop fearing mistakes, you stop freezing. When you stop freezing, you start sounding confident. Not because your English improved overnight, but because your relationship with English changed. How to practice English like a human every day. Now here's the most important part. Understanding this shift is powerful, but if you don't change how you practice, your mind will slowly slip back into student mode. So the goal is simple. You stop practicing English to be correct, and you start practicing it to be comfortable. Stop treating practice like preparation. Most people practice English as if they are preparing for something big. An interview, a conversation, a moment in the future. That mindset keeps English in the not now category. But fluent speakers don't prepare English. They use it. They talk to themselves. They describe what they are doing. They speak without an audience. And that is why English feels normal to them. Make English part of your thinking, not your schedule. You don't need 1 hour of practice. You need small, real moments. When you're walking, say your thoughts in English. When you're confused, explain the confusion in English. When something goes wrong, react in English. No scripts. No corrections. No pressure. This trains your brain to see English as a tool, not a task. Why this works so fast? When English enters your daily thinking, fear disappears. Because fear needs importance, and casual use removes importance. The more normal English feels, the less power it has over you. That is the secret no textbook teaches. What fluency really looks like. Fluency is not sounding impressive. Fluency is feeling free. Free to start. Free to pause. Free to adjust mid-sentence. And once you feel that freedom, confidence becomes automatic. Final truth to remember. You don't need better English. You need a better relationship with English. Stop treating it like a subject. Stop treating it like a test. Start treating it like a human skill. If this series changed how you see English even a little, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to this channel, because everything here is designed to help you use English naturally, not memorize it. And if you know someone who is stuck in student mode, share this video with them. Sometimes one shift is all it takes. Like the video, and remember this: you're not behind. You were just trained the wrong way. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.